All right, so welcome back, everybody, and so happy to see so many new faces tonight. My name is Richard Brubaker. I'm the founder of Collective Responsibility, and you're on my ride for the next hour and a half, and for those that stay after, 2 hours. So thank you very much for coming again. We're here tonight to talk about selling sustainability. Now, we have a lot of new people here tonight, and that's really exciting because it shows that we're starting to build some momentum. There's some challenges outside. And the platform that you are participating in is basically, it's our monthly events. And so what we're trying to do here, the consulting firm that I run, we've been here for about 15 years running sustainability and CSR programming strategy for largely large brands, but also entrepreneurs as well. But tonight's kind of like our way to spread the information, to bring people together, to drive awareness around the key social and environmental challenges, which a lot of you are probably already aware of, scared of, trying to figure out how to make your way through. Establish, teams, be it in here or when you go back, that you have some information you can arm yourselves with, and just kind of engage collaboration among the people that are here. Yeah, don't be afraid of the front row. My students are always like that. All right. So usually I make, my first punchline is, we're not here to talk about carbon being evil, global warming is a problem, and we need to save the polar bears. I usually talk about the fact that we live in an amazing city where sustainability is what I really believe the best petri dish in the world right now. We have so many things happening in this city, country, region, where we can learn, where we can see what's actually going to happen, and we can all come together and develop out the solutions, be it from the government, from nonprofit, from the for-profit sector, entrepreneurs. And that's in part because this picture is about, probably 15 years old now. For those of you that have been dated back in Shanghai for a long time, you'll know that some of the towers aren't even built in this picture. When I first arrived here, it was really, that had just opened up the year before, and this was here, and I think Pearl Tower was there, and a few others, but not much. So much has happened. And for me, sustainability has always been about the systems that basically deliver an urban economy to the 25 million here, the 8 billion in 2050, whatever it may be. And what we need to be focused on in terms of sustainability is not carbon and global warming and polar bears, but on the things that are actually happening in our backyard. And in 2014, 15, the beauty of what was happening was, while everyone was talking about Copenhagen and Paris and all those big accords, here we had this happening on a daily basis. And in China, every city was struggling with its own air quality issues. But that air quality issue gets back to the energy package and the systems, and is it coming from nuclear, from coal, from hydro, whatever it may be, to deliver the urban economy. We can talk about food, we can talk about waste, and that's what these talks are all about. But tonight, the reason why we really focus on this is basically because urbanization coming to scale over the next 35 years is what we are going to be working on collectively. If you look at the year 2000, urban China, there's 450 million people living in cities at the time, 288 in India, 141 in Brazil, US about 225. By 2030, we double in Asia. Now, okay, there's a little bit of a bump here. There's a little bit of a bump here. But it's in 2050 that we are going to feel the full weight of urbanization. And when you urbanize people, you basically change their footprint 6 to 8 times in terms of energy, water, food, whatever it may be. They're going to come in the city, they're going to demand more. It doesn't matter how efficient the city is. They need more water, or they need more energy, they need more food. So how do we get through those systems? That's something we look at. And then obviously waste is a big challenge. Now, usually my punchline is we don't need to worry about it. But 2 weeks ago, this was the heat dome that was lighting the western half of the United States and part of Canada on fire. This was Germany last week, and this was Hunan this week, right? These issues that I used to say, okay, that's too far away, that's too intangible, it's here, right? It's in the street, and it's, in Southeast Asia, we're seeing that with Bangkok, we're seeing that with Jakarta. They got to move the cities because flooding coming in. We're seeing it here, very tangibly now. And that, sadly, we hope that as many of the people in there can be saved and kind of the homes can be rebuilt and things like that. But we need to be thinking longer term. And that's what these events are about. And that's what's really kind of driven me to think about what are the topics, what are the events, and who do I want in these, to be speaking, but also to be engaging with. And that is the people who really want to be the change, to take up a tool and put it to use. So these are our 2021 events. We're about halfway through. We've gone from Race to Zero, which is where we started, which is something that we're all talking about, net zero, net neutrality, circular economies, powering sustainability, and now we're kind of into selling sustainability. And that's what we'll be talking about tonight. Because last time we talked a lot about the waste systems of Shanghai, which if you missed it, there's actually a lot happening here that's both encouraging from the government, but also from business and also from individuals. There's just so much going on. And then next time we're going to be talking about materials and actually the delivery systems themselves, creating circularity there. But tonight we're going to talk about materials, purchase paths, price premiums, and how do we get people to actually buy into sustainability. Now, we have 3 panelists here who are going to speak about that from very different angles. We have B2B, we have B2C, we have entrepreneur, we have large brand. Because selling sustainability isn't just about how do we get consumers to buy. It's how do we get the energy grid itself to buy solar. It's how do we get people internally to our companies to buy into these topics, these solutions that need to do more. And for me, I think that's where having this great panel up here, they're going to provide some insights, some experience, and I hope inspire you to think about how you can take ideas home, tools, meet some people. So unfortunately tonight, Jason couldn't make it tonight, but we have Christine Penn, who's the SVP of Marketing from Adidas, and she will speak first. Second, we'll have Ed Zhao, Milliken and Company. He will introduce the company himself, but I met him at an AmCham event where we were talking about very similar issues. And my old friend, not old, but old friend, John Newton, from Life Solutions, who's doing water filtration. And they're going to be tackling this from 3 different ways. And I asked them specifically because they sell such different products. I actually, in full fairness, I've worked with 2 of these organizations. I know the challenges they face as whether they're trying to sell or trying to convert or internally engage, whatever it may be. There's great stories here. And so I hope that you'll, take notes, grab some coffee, ask some questions at the end, because we will have, hopefully, a very active Q&A at the end. So with that, I'm going to ask Christine to come up. Sorry. One last thing. I can't forget our sponsors. We have WeWork in the back. So this is Manuel. If you want to learn more about WeWork, they've been facilitating this the whole time we've been here. They've hosted us for 4 events. They've got us for the next year. They really put on a great event, and the furniture I heard is amazing. The coffee is free. They have a great community, and we're trying to do more. And Use Them, you will see them later. If you don't know Use Them, they're an amazing group out in Pudong that's doing upcycling of different textiles, and I realize they're actually doing some work with you guys lately, so that's awesome. But they really, help us, make this happen. So thank you very much to them. Please scan the QR codes if you have a minute. And then we'll go straight to Manuel, so be careful. All right, so with that, I will bring him down, Christine Penn. So thank you very much. So here's the clicker, and away we go. Oh,
can you guys hear me?
One thing, I have to mic you up.
Okay. Thanks, Richard. So tonight, I'm not just a presenter, I'm also a student. Not only learn from the professor, and not learn from everybody. I think there will be a lot of interesting discussions tonight, talk about the sustainability. Before I start, I want to say, where is this then? I would say sustainability is not a fashion, it is a necessity. Because if China cannot be successful on sustainability, the whole world would not. That's how important it is that we all gather together to share our inspiration as well as practice on sustainability. So, a lot of information here, but I just want to say a few things. China has a huge population here, right? And as a human, we produce a lot of waste. Also, we have the largest e-commerce business in China, and it produces a lot of parcel waste, a lot of things, a lot of cars. So that's emphasize the point. If China cannot be successful, the whole world would not. And China has been evolving over the time. It used to be really big on high growth rate. Now, the government as well as the people talk more about the high quality approach of development. The high quality needs the sustainable growth of the country as well as the society. So that actually carves out the role that the brand needs to play in this sustainability space. 3 things we need to do as a manufacturer, as a brand. Number 1, we need to innovate. We need to lead a lot of technology innovation on sustainability. 2, We need to provide beyond the product, service, the lifestyle that will promote the culture of sustainability with the consumers that we engage on a daily basis. Third, very important, that we actually bring the ecosystem, all the partners together in one ecosystem. Because as a brand, as a manufacturer, we work with a lot of partners. So we want to create the ecosystem who will accelerate the whole sustainability to the next stage of the game. Those are the three roles carved out as a manufacturer, as a brand, as a large brand. That's our social responsibility. So start with consumers, because Adidas is playing in the sports industry. So let's start with why we have a role to play with the consumers that we engage. So when you look at some of the consumer research in our target consumer space, I'll just say it. This connection is not as great. So when we look at some of the consumer segmentation research that we just finished, you will see there are a lot of kind of emergent trends with the target consumers in our space, right? There are 7 of them. But I can group them into 2 clusters. 1, 2, 3, 4, from freedom, simplicity, nature, and holistic health. It's all because in the modern world, we are very busy. We stressed out every day by a lot of activities and a busy lifestyle. So as a human nature, we want to get freedom. We want to minimize the things. We want to get connected with the nature. We want to free ourselves. Those are all the emerging consumers' needs and wants, because in the modern world, we are very busy. We are overloaded with a lot of stress. Now, the last 3, the community, the recognition, success, is a human in China, especially in the large population. They want to fit in, but they also want to stand out. That is the kind of a new social insights we gain from today's consumers. They want to show they're better than the peers. They want to show their efforts paid out. They want to stand out. In the meanwhile, they want to get recognition. Why I say that? Because you will know some of the events, some of the campaigns we run actually build on the consumer insights I just shared with you. So zoom in the 2 areas really related to our space. One is, I think you guys all know, people believe in the freedom and the freedom they can get from exercise, because they might not have the capability to decide what to do during the day, how to arrange their 24 hours, but they have the freedom to choose the right sports at their will. So that is the freedom sports really give them. And during the exercise, they really get the mental and the body a nice relaxation and a break. So when you talk to a lot of consumers on this topic, they will very often mention freedom as one of the key benefit from a lot of sports, and also connected with the nature, because Chinese culture is very much believe in the positive energy provided by the nature. By connecting with the nature in sports, they feel like they can be recharged from the positive energies in the nature. Also, we learn in some of the sports, we talk about the collectiveness at heart, because I don't know whether any of you guys know, the culture, the religion in China is not Buddhism. Before Buddhism is Dao, right? It's before Dao, it's actually family. That is probably the most native religion in China, is the family community. That's why in consumers' people's heart, the community, the family community, as well as the broader community, becomes the faith they really have, the belief. So that plays out a lot when we do a lot of engagement with consumers. The whole sense of community really stands out in a lot of communications, as well as the consumer's reflection. The last not the least, they want to stand out. They want to be recognized by the group. They want the people to tap in their shoulders, say, you have done a good job. You're better in what sense? It's the sense of accomplishment. And then when we're looking at that actually plays out. Because the consumers' needs and wants and their segments and what they want to get from sports, as you guys can see, in terms of the category of sports, running becomes the number 1, followed by the basketball, training, and some of the cyclings is much higher, and the racket sports, much higher, China versus the Western world. The choice they have on the sports, the difference between China and the Western world really confirm a lot of the benefits Chinese people really looking for in sports, in connecting with the sports community. And that is the ground that, as a brand, we know that we need to provide service to. Let's zoom in a little bit on sustainability, because we are on this topic. In a very recent quantitative and qualitative research in China, you guys will find it's amazing. 98% of the consumers said they want to know more about, as a brand, as a manufacturer, what you guys have done on the fabric, on the technology, on the clothes industry, okay? They want to know more about it. And 19% of consumers today already become very active advocates on the sustainability. So that's kind of the trend. It's growing very fast when you compare with 5 years ago. And then when you're looking at why sustainability is so important for the Chinese people, not only because Richard said, look at the pollution Beijing, Shanghai has been through in the last 4 or 5 years, and we're concerned about our living environment. More importantly, sustainability really plays into two parts. One, it's a symptom about sophistication, about the social status. In a lot of consumer research, we do the Run for the Ocean, kind of a Run for the Sustainability campaign. Consumers tell us, it's something I can put on my shoulder or put on the badge or put on my bag to show actually I was doing this for the society because I want to get recognized by people about I am really caring. I'm really kind of thinking through this. I'm different from others. So a lot to play into their psychological needs that they want the social status offered by their activities and engagement in sustainability. The second, I think it plays a lot into the space about, it is not just about the earth, it's about them as well. They will tell you, I really care about the food safety. I really care about the whole health and awareness. I really care about the second generation of me, my grandchildren, my future generations, whether they live in a very healthy environment. I want my family to be happy. I want my kids to be healthy. So there's a lot of kind of, do today, but it's really for the future, for my future generation. So it's the overall health and awareness really play into the space of sustainability. That came out in the research very strong. One is the social status. Another is their holistic thinking about sustainability, nature, health, awareness, future. And then when you're looking at what they do actually, if they say they really care about the sustainability, 98% of them say they do, right? What are the places they really did act on? You start seeing a lot of people being very vocal about sustainability on the social and the digital platform. You start seeing a lot of the, what we call the re-commerce, the second-hand market. I'm sure that many of you are put your clothes on Xianyu and other sites to resell, not because you want to get the money, but you wanted the product to have a longer life so someone can benefit from it, and you care about the earth. And then there are a lot of minimalists, right? We all, a lot of people post on the WeChat about how they organize in the space to be very lean, to be the minimalist. That's something they're really bragging about it, earn the social currency. They also talk about the conscious diet. They consciously more vegetarians right now in China, and more people concerned about their overall diet, which is related to the environment, related to the overall health and awareness, which is all tied together with sustainability. Now, let's look at Gen Z, because they are the most active population on the internet today. And they're going to grow into the majority of the purchasing power, they already are, of the China society. So 94% of Gen Z said they want high quality product. High quality becomes first, then the price. They want the products to have a long live life, right? The 60% of the Gen Z said they want to minimize the cost reverse of their unhealthy diet. They want to be more healthy. 50% of them said that they're actually looking for the locally sourced food. I think it's even more so after the COVID. People more concerned about the food source, want a kind of a local relevance with the food sources, right? And in the same thing as APAC and China, but we've seen the very accelerating trend of the Gen Z care about the sustainability and that they already act on it. So as a company, we know sports industry, people are looking for the 7 things, 4 related to the work stress, 3 related to they want to be recognized, and also we know the consumers we serve, they care about the sustainability. They want to get the recognition. They want to do the overall health and awareness for themselves and for the future generation. We also know our core consumer target, Gen Z, is also very care about the sustainability. So what do we do as a brand? I want to give you an example. We just finished this campaign. This is the most recent campaign we just finished, right? This campaign ran for the longest period of time. It really came in 3 phases. Phase 1, we said as a brand, global brand, no matter where on the earth, we said as adidas, we stand behind sustainability. We really care about the sustainability. You guys will see from a lot of billboards, we said, end plastic waste. Our product is made of a lot of recycled materials. Let's care about the earth. Let's care about our ocean, right? That's a phase one. We said loud and clear with the pride that we care about sustainability. Then we come to phase two. Not only we say we care, we actually use our efforts, our employees' time, our energy as well as dollars to stand behind a lot of things we said we care. So we organized the largest Run for the Ocean campaign. I'll show you a little bit detail in a second. And also we work with the 50 communities in China to organize this Run for the Ocean event together to really call for attention, call for a lot of waste in the ocean. It's really put a lot of threats on a lot of animals we care about, the whales and others, and also the really call for attention from the consumers to participate with us in this Run for the Ocean event. That's a phase two. And the phase three, plastic is not just waste. It's not just trash. Plastic and all the recycled material can be something really pretty, can be something beautiful, can be something that people really admire. So we put those plastic bottles together, work with the 4 amazing artists. We did a very special art exhibition in UCCA. We're impressed the entire audience and a lot of the media people coming to this exhibition to see how we can turn that into the art pieces. And also we turn some of the plastic bottles that we collected into some of the gift bags or souvenirs that people can pick up from the Adidas store. So all the things we do is from what say we care about the sustainability to we do an organized event, the community-based event, mobilize the community, till we celebrate together after we finish the whole campaign. I want to show you something. This is the phase one, where we really call for the community, the 50 communities, to go the run for us together. So every kilometers you run, we will collect 10 plastic bottles. So this is the Run for the Ocean event that Adidas organized every year around the world, right? What the mechanism in this run is we ask people to run for the ocean, to let more people care about the ocean. So every kilometer they run, we will collect 10 bottles with our volunteers together. And then we will turn the 10 bottles into our piece, into the currency that we will donate the product to the community, so offer more sports access to the underprivileged people. And also, we will do some of the charity work based on some of the outcomes that we actually won the global competition in the Run for the Ocean within the Adidas family. But this year, we, despite the weather, right, we actually, China, distance-wise, actually is 50% of the entire Adidas global distance. Together, we run 116 million kilometers. And the people that participate in the running is 2.7 million people, including 1,500 employees participate in the running. And we work with the 50 communities in China within 2 weeks. And you guys can tell, a lot of CCTV actually came to do a broadcasting of the event. It's not a paid media, it's because the event got a lot of publicity. So the CCTV really think it's a great thing for the country. So they run a program called 美丽中国, and they actually post that on the news that evening. So we also achieved the largest media impressions of the year, and also the clippings, all the stuff. But running itself is just what we do as a company to get people's attention on sustainability, to get them to mobilize themselves to do something for the earth. But we also want to generate a lot of authentic runner story to inspire more people not to participate in the run, but they care about the sustainability. And guess what? Those are not actors or actors. We did find 4 very interesting runners in this event. They all have their personal stories related to sustainability. One of the lady you guys will see she has a dog. She loves her dog. And her dog almost accidentally eats some plastic waste on the beach and almost died. So from that moment, she became very active on sustainability. And there's some artists that they actually want to kind of teach audience that you can use the plastic bottle to be the brush to paint the painting. And there is a retired athlete want to teach the daughter about the sustainability, want to do something back to the society beyond just sports. So a lot of authentic, real people stories that we actually generated. A lot of the materials actually donated by them. So we put together with a kind of a co-creation, a lot of the content pieces. Once it's published on some of the digital media, within 24 hours, actually we got the highest impressions and the readership during the year. And also we got a lot of positive comments, and people comment not on the brand, but on the sustainability, about the sustainability growth, sustainable growth of China and the earth health. I want to share with you some of their stories.
每年有800万吨塑料流入海洋，海洋减速，刻不容缓。我是卓玛，我是何水晶，我是单金丹，我是韦奇。阿迪达斯海洋卫士已经在行动。我和多多也曾面临关于塑料的生存大事。有一次，多多误食海上飘来的塑料瓶盖，差点窒息。海洋减速，刻不容缓。作为一个画家的我呀，决定变废为宝，去街上随机收集各种塑料来作画。别人眼里的废物也是画家手中的宝贝呀。我的改变源于我的小朋友。师傅，海洋世界老师，你能帮帮他们吗？用行动回应孩子的求助，也是我给子女最好的保障。奔跑在山川湖海之间是我的梦想。大量塑料废物的入侵，让我不得不停下脚步。不管在何时何地，我都会坚持清理各种塑料垃圾。我就是野生环卫工，一起跑出未来。地球和运动的未来源于更多海洋卫士的加入，一起跑出未来。
Although Adidas organized the event, but through this, working on this campaign, actually I learned a lot and be inspired by those people who actually putting a lot of their money, time, and a passion on the sustainability. The same as the audience here today in this gathering. You guys all care about, what's for the China today and also what's for the China tomorrow. So very inspiring. And then after that campaign, I think it's very important. It's not just about running. It's not just about the runner story, right? We want to say we can actually promote a sustainable lifestyle by having a different choices about the clothes you put on yourself. So a lot of, we instead of selling the product, there is a little exhibition in the store and also in some of the public places. We talk about how the plastic particles can turn into a pair of shoes. So you guys visit some of the Adidas store, you will see called made to be remade. That is the meaning behind it. A lot of product can be recycled, reused, has a green material. So we want to promote that the lifestyle is combined with a lot of product choices. You can have alternative choice from what you have today. And as a company, we also wanted the people to benefit from a lot of things that from the society. So we donate around 12,000 pieces back to the society. A lot of underprivileged kids in the school area. A lot of the dark blind runners that they also care about the sustainability. We donate a lot of pieces. We also donated 1,000 of the GWPs in the store as a souvenir to people who actually care about the sustainability. So as a company, by doing all that, we actually bring the community together. We found there are a lot of peoples, different generations living on different parts of this country. They have a different growing background. They have their different personal story related to sustainability. But there's one thing bring all of us together. It's called the Sustainability Connect All. It is the things we really care about. The last phase of the campaign is we want to celebrate together with the large community. We want to show them it's not just waste, it's not just trash. It can be beautiful art pieces we celebrate together. So we actually work with the UCCA to put beautiful art exhibitions out there that want to kind of tell the stories for all the visitors who came to this exhibition. Those are all made from plastic bags. Okay, so for those of you who haven't visited this exhibition, hopefully give you some flavor about, it really impressed a lot of visitors, talk about it's not just waste, it's it's beauty. As long as you have a heart for sustainability, you can actually turn into treasure. And I want to finish my presentation and sharing with something I'm very optimistic about the future in China. Although China might start the sustainability a little bit later than the Western world, but we're accelerating because we have a lot of young generation really care about it. And in the recent consumer research, you guys will see, women today are more caring about sustainability than men. No offense to all the men here in this room. But eventually, the rising trend about equal careness, men and women. So we start seeing we will have more and more support forces from different genders, right? And also we will see the young generation actually want to increase their wear of the garments. They want to kind of using what they can control every day to really contribute to the sustainability. And a lot of the quantitative data really show they have a lot of tangible actions in place that they express very loud and clearly they want to do something about sustainability. With those data, I think we have a full confidence that China will enter the next chapter of sustainability with a lot of accomplishment to teach the whole world and inspire the whole world. Thanks.
I'll take the microphone.
Oh, thanks.
All right, thank you very much. So we're going to shift gears, and I'm going to ask her some questions in a bit about also the back end, because she talked a lot about the front, like the consumer facing, because I had asked her to. But she alluded to the fact that they do a lot with the plastics and the take back on the material side. And actually, that's the nice pivot over to our next speaker, who is really, from B2B. And I think we talk a lot because we see a lot from the consumer brands and what they're doing, whether they be in, in the retail sector, food, whatever it may be. But on the back end, there's so many things happening B2B and in the operations and the materials and in the innovations there that actually our next speaker is going to speak about that, because he bridges a little bit of both worlds. So, Ed,
all right,
come on up.
All right, so thank you very much.
I'm
wondering where you got my picture over there.
LinkedIn. So
okay, I apologize about that. You have to tolerate it. Thank you. Let me. Can you help me to turn on the mic over here? I don't have as a strong a voice as Christine over there. Oh, this is loud. My name is Zhao. I work for a company called Milliken. You probably haven't heard the name a lot. Let me do a quick introduction about who we are, and then I will talk a little bit about what we are trying to do with regard to sustainability as well. So Milliken, we really are a diversified manufacturer. As Rich commented on a few while ago, we really are in the B2B space. We don't make the product you buy. We try to make the product you buy even better, right? That's what we do. We really sell many of the ingredients goes into the product you buy. So within the company, we already have four divisions. We have four large business lines, from chemical. Okay, well, I will just like Christine, I will have to give up on this one as well. We have there are four main a business we are in Milliken, from a specialty chemical to textile to carpet to healthcare as well, right? I mentioned we really are selling ingredients goes into so many of the products you are buying. For example, in our chemical part of the business, we sell ingredient goes into packaging. We sell ingredient goes into coating and paints. We sell ingredient goes into semiconductor as well, right? For our textile division, we really have two main lines of core business there. One is we own a sports fabric brand. It's called Polotech. We believe that's the number one the sports fabric brand in the world. In addition, we are a major player in the protective garment side as well, right? Like to, this is our vision. We certainly want to have a positive impact of the world. So Milliken has always been a very responsible manufacturer. So we've been doing that for the last 100 years or so. We have set out a sustainability goal for 2025 a number of years ago. We are making very good progress toward that goal as well. I won't comment on that. I will comment a little bit about the changes we've been sensing over the last several years, right? I would say it really started probably in 2016 or 2017 in US and in Europe. In Asia, we really started to see the trend probably about two to 3 years ago, right? The trend we are seeing is that our customer are telling us, saying, we know you are a good manufacturer. We know you try to do things the right way. That's good, but we need some help. What can you do to help us to be more sustainable? Right? That's really a fundamental shift we are seeing over the last couple of years. The second comment we heard from the group are sustainability in the past, if you may, has more of a PR or GR type of thing, right? You got your PR group will give a talk about how well you are doing, etc. Our customers are telling us that's not good enough anymore, right? We want to see concrete thing that you are doing, the program you have in place to help us to be more sustainable. Those are the fundamental shifts we are seeing over the last couple of years, right? It certainly is it's a challenge for us. At the same time, we felt it's a very good opportunity as well. I would say when I travel around in the region, when I go see a customer, the number one thing they want to talk about these days is sustainability. Almost every project we started with our customer all have a sustainability bent, right? And we really see that's a longer term, a very strong competitive advantage for us. For today, I'd like to share a couple of things we are doing now. I would say that none of those has been completed already, and we are trying very hard to make that happen. I want to tell you a bit about what we are trying to do, and the challenge we are seeing, and the vision we have as well, right? This is related to one of our business where we sell additives goes into thermoplastic, right? You probably all touch this product several times a day, right? When you buy things from Meituan and Ele.me, etc., and your food will come in this type of box. This box actually didn't exist in China about 13 years ago in 2008, right? We helped to introduce this concept into China. And one of the key enabler is the ingredient we make for this type of a box as well. We help to enable it. We help to build a supply chain, etc. We are very proud about what we have done, right? Because it really become an essential part of modern life. That's good. The challenge we are seeing now is that the volume, if you may, has grown a lot more than we had imagined a number of years ago. Let me give you a number. Based on our data in 2020, the total amount of resin being consumed in this type of box in China is about 1.4 million tons. In the city of Shanghai alone, it's roughly about 10% of that, so 140,000 tons. When you think about 140,000 tons of this very, very thin box, that's a lot of stuff, right? So we recognize that it's our responsibility. It will be great for this whole industry as well to figure out a way to make sure those things will be recycled, will be reused, and so on, right? It turned out that the resin being used to make this type of container is great, because it can be used in a whole variety of application, right? If we can figure out a way to collect and being able to recycle that, it can be used for automotive application. It can be used for face masks. For example, about a year ago in China, there was a run for the filtration material for the face mask, right? It's called meltblown film. And that type of a filter can be made with this type of material as well. There are a whole variety of the downstream application there. But the challenge has been this type of container are not being collected that much here in China, right? But we think that we can change that. And the reason that make us being optimistic about it is that we are all familiar with the PET drink bottle, the water bottle, etc. The collection rate in China now is 98%. So essentially, every bottle you use, you throw into a trash can, is being picked out. I mean, it's being recycled, et cetera, et cetera. Right? We think it can happen. Now, the key there is to make sure every segment of the supply chain, of this whole value chain, if you may, can make money. From the garbage collector, to the salvager, to the cleaner, to recycler, and so on and so forth. That's why we are working with whole variety of a partner in many parts of China, and we are not there yet, right? But we are seeing some tangible progress now. For example, in the city of Xiamen. We are working with a partner there where they will collect about 300 tons a month of this type of container. And then they got turned into very high quality, high value product, eventually being used in a whole variety of application there. So 300 ton a month is not a whole lot. That's roughly about 10% of Xiamen can consume every month. But it's getting up there, right? And there are more work to be done with the local government, and we think that can set a very good example for this type of a program here in China. I would say the big one is going to be in Shanghai. If we can figure out a way to have this cycle run in a way where every player can make money, so it can be run as the recycle chain for PET bottle, and that will be wonderful. This is what we want to accomplish over the next year or so, right? We are engaging with the city government of Shanghai, and they are highly interested. So by the way, so within the city of Shanghai, there has been several trying to move this type of application away from this type of box, right? They try things like paper box, biodegradable container, etc. None really works. Consumer hate those choices, right? Because it leaks, it causes all kind of issue. We really think that this is the best package you can have for this type of application. We really can figure out a way to make sure near 100% of this type of box will be collected, will be recycled. It will be a wonderful thing for the society over here. Okay. So I got a couple things I want to talk about. There is a case in pain. I won't spend much time on it. I would say the key driver there is really to work with the government to really help to drive a regulation change. Right? We are seeing some very positive trend in that. Let me comment a little bit about this example. I really like what Christine was saying a few while ago about what the younger generation truly want, right? I mentioned a few while ago, one of our business is for sports for fabric, we have a brand called Politech, right? We spend a great deal of time to figure out, as a fabric brand, what should we do to help the world to be more sustainable, right? Couple years ago, there was a great deal of talk about maybe the fabric or the textile itself ought to be biodegradable. We look into that. We really have done a very scientific lifetime cycle analysis here. We came to the conclusion in vast majority of the situation there, biodegradable textile is just a very bad idea for the environment and for the society as well. After going through all the analysis, we came to realize the most sustainable thing one can do now is to make sure the garment will be able to last longer, right? Longevity is really a true sustainability, and we have shown that if we can allow the consumer to wear the garment one season more, that will help to reduce the environmental footprint of the garment by at least 25%, right? Consumer really want high quality product. They want the garment to shed less when they wash it. They want it last longer. They really want the garment to age in a very beautiful way as well, right? So this is really I would say based on this type of a thinking, we come about saying the best thing we can do for the environment, for this business, is to develop a garment, is to develop a fabric that will last longer, that will be beautiful, that will age in a very beautiful way as well, right? So just to finish it up, I do want to share the video over here. This is a video we did jointly with Houdini, and I hope the next time around we will be able to have a joint video with adidas over here, right? But this is Houdini's video.
Nature and outdoor apparel are a far worse match than you would think. The textile industry is responsible for so much pollution and waste that it's impossible to ignore. We began to break that chain almost 30 years ago, and now we're taking another big leap, challenging the very idea of waste by launching the Mono Air, a fully circular fleece jacket engineered specifically to prevent microfiber shedding. But one garment is not going to solve the problem.
Our experience as a much smaller company than these two very, very big monsters of business. And essentially, just to give you an idea of how we focused our evolution and our development and how we've changed our messages. And then also what's really interesting is, especially in both of these last two presentations, to see how the market's evolved and how people's perceptions, especially in China, have evolved and changed, and how that's affected our own business. So I'm deliberately going to show you a whole bunch of boring slides, but there's a point for this. But this is just a quick intro. We started in Hong Kong in 2003, and then I sort of co-founded Livestream China in 2008. So that's 13 years now on the ground in mainland China and 18 years in Asia. Over the last few years, we've built up to about 1,500 corporate clients, and I'll share some of those with you now. When we started in 2008, you'll see a lot of the stats that we were showing was about what was the awareness of sustainability in 2008 versus what it is now. And us as a small business, we've actually experienced those waves in acceptance and sometimes in rejection by delivering the wrong message, etc. But back in the day when I started in 2008, my background is as an accountant. So you can imagine I wasn't really a salesman at heart. But I started off and I thought, okay, well, we're selling a sustainable product here. We're selling water filtration to corporate offices that don't
need to be buying plastic bottles and contributing to the landfill and contributing to the waste. So I took a very academic approach to it, and we started developing slides like this, which showed the effectiveness of reverse osmosis versus other types of filtration. And we started showing configurations on how we can configure everybody's office with their coffee machine and their boiler system and their dispenser. And we gave photographs of how we could configure them into the cupboards, et cetera, et cetera. And like I said, I'm deliberately showing you a whole bunch of boring slides that I was showing to people in purchasing departments and giving them slides and slides of research, showing them the benefits of our product, et cetera, showing them figures about how much plastic goes into landfill, when basically they'd given you half an hour for you to show them what your system can do. Is it healthy? Will it save me money? And then I'm on board. And I spent a long time learning these lessons, but I've accelerated through my whole old presentation. And I used to show them long, boring slides about what supporting the plastic bottled water industry, how it's damaging the environment, water quality, etc. And to be honest, I think after a little while, I realized that I was boring people to tears. And as I mentioned, as an accountant in year one, me and my business partner worked out that we needed to be selling and installing at 200 client sites to break even, to pay the rent, and hopefully have staff. And after year one, me going around and showing a lot more than these slides, but this gives you an idea of the type of message we were giving on sustainability. After the first year, we didn't have 200, we had 19 systems. So it was very daunting back then, and people were very suspicious about whether you could drink directly from the water source, could you have filtration, or we're just going to trust bottled water, okay? So that was our initial experience, and it took a long time, but today I'll go into how it's changed. We've got service teams in Beijing, Shanghai, Chengdu, in the south in Guangzhou, and then we also have partner offices in Hong Kong and Macau. And we don't outsource our services. We have all of our staff are trained in-house, and they are our engineers. So we changed our message from please buy our machine to we're a company that can service your offices and give you clean, healthy drinking water every day. And it's going to be cheaper than buying plastic bottled water, and we've got the health certifications to prove that. And we've got a sales team here in Shanghai, as I said, but we changed our whole focus from please buy our machine to we're a people business, okay? And we're a service business. And we all have a collective responsibility to the globe to provide service. You see what I did there, right? Yeah, okay. But essentially, I've just gone and told you, for the first 3 years, we were dead. 2008, 2009, 2010, people thought we were crazy when we were trying to convince them that you could install a machine that will filter the mains water. People in China don't believe you can drink the water here. Until an awareness, as Christine mentioned, Gen Z now are very influential. A lot of those people are moving up into purchasing decision makers in business, and these are becoming important criteria for them. So we've seen a whole shift, and between 2011 and 2018, we did change our strategy. Like I said, we spoke about people, and we spoke about tangible benefits of what you can get by using a system. So yes, I'm going to do a quick little demonstration for you. Some of you may have seen this, but when we stopped giving 48-page PPT scientific convincing evidence on why you can filter water, can you go and get me some from the source, from the tap water? Instead of that, what we did was we gave 4 or 5 bullet points on the benefits and the cost benefits, etc. And then we always knew that people would say to us, but can you really drink the water? Is it safe? Am I going to be poisoning my staff? Because then we've got these legal liabilities on our hands. So like I've done today, I haven't done this demonstration in a very long time, but this comes from our office. That's straight from the Huangpu. Thank you. And then essentially I'd bring a bottle of water from our office machine and pour out what's from the Huangpu, or as Richard said, from the Huangpu, but municipal water. And then this was municipal water, but it's been through a system in our office. And all we do is very, very quick, but what we found out was a very effective and tangible way of making people understand that not all sustainable products have to be compromised. Ed said something very interesting about all of us care about sustainability, but if we're ordering a takeaway, we don't want the takeaway in the bag with a nice sustainable wooden paper recycled leaking box. We'd rather pick something that's going to be functional. So we shifted our whole approach towards that to actually try to convince our potential buyers that you don't have to compromise by being sustainable. So what I did was we'd always do two things, and this is called a TDS meter. I'm not going to give you a long scientific explanation, but it's total dissolved solids, which effectively measures the molecules or parts per micron of each square millimeter of water. Okay, so this is the municipal water. So Ed, can you tell me what number you see here?
So 154.
Okay, so that means there's 154 solids per square millimeter of water in this glass of water. It doesn't tell us whether they're good ones. To be honest, the only really good ones are minerals. There are many different types of minerals. But there could be potentially bacteria, there could be potentially chemicals and heavy metals that are harmful to our health. Okay? And then Christine, can you tell me what's in this one?
Wow, it's 51.
51, okay. So there's a difference of 3 times here, but it doesn't tell us what's in the water. So if any of you guys remember your high school chemistry, this is basically an electrolysis machine. It's going to send an electric current through both of these bars. Right now, all the solids in the water are in their natural state, so they are transparent. When they get, for the lack of a better word, electrocuted or denatured, they will start to show their true nature and reveal themselves, opposite to Houdini. So the good color is yellow. Yellow, all minerals will turn yellow when they're denatured. Your living particles or living organisms, bacteria, etc., will turn a greenish, opaque gray. And then any sort of heavy metals in the water will turn either black or a dark brown or a rust color. So I think you can already see, unfortunately, I need a white background. You got a piece of paper, Rich?
Ivory. Does that work?
That should work. Okay, so you can see that there's a big difference in the actual water. Okay, and if you want, you can come and have a look at the end, or I can pass it around. But like I said, you want it to look like whiskey. So yellow. This one has got yellow at the bottom. But you'll see here there's this line of gray, greenish bacteria, etc. And on the top, there's brown and rust colors that are settling. So that's your heavy metal in the water. Now, ironically, because I always used to get asked this by potential clients, well, can you test our bottled water? And we never said that we're better than bottled water, because essentially, I don't believe that there is really a Nongfu Sanquan spring somewhere in the mountain. Nestle, all of the big brands, like I said, there's nothing wrong with the bottled water, but it's all filtered. It's filtered in big industrial facilities, and then it's bottled. And the actual cost price of that water is probably 1 or 2 mao. But you're paying 3 or 4 kwai for the transportation, for the plastic bottle, and for the branding on that bottle. And that's where the cost of bottled water comes. So it's one of the most, let's say, environmentally unfriendly industries in the world. And when we started showing people and proving to them that, it's fine now, you can bring any of the bottled water from the office and we'll test it and do a comparison for you, people actually started engaging in those meetings. And what would happen is a half-an-hour meeting became an hour and a half, because they would call in all of their colleagues and say, hey, look, we brush our teeth with this stuff every morning. Can you test my bottle of water? And the whole thing about engagement is when people could actually see it with their own eyes, as opposed to a whole bunch of PowerPoints. So that was how we changed our message and our delivery. Sorry for some people here who might work for companies that are our clients. But they regularly They regularly talk about a plastic-free office, and I think it might have been in 2003. Christine, you're not in purchasing, you won't know, but I think it might have been in 2013 or 14. So we got our first big Adidas deal, and we do Adidas across the country in every office. And we've actually done an event. I've spoken at one of their plastic-free events. So they have a plastic-free office, and we've got a finger in that pie in the sense that there's no bottled water in most of these companies. And this is just a screenshot of how we've managed to grow in the corporate sector, because from 2008, businesses started becoming very aware of what was happening outside in the world, to be honest. China, I'll talk about what's happened in China, but in 2008, 2009, as both Christine and Ed said, China started becoming very sustainability aware quite late. So there's no coincidence, most of these are foreign companies, and they were aware long before the government here started changing things. So a lot of these flagship clients, we started growing between 2011 and 2018. And then I experienced after 2018, have to thank, Xi Jinping and the CCP for 2018, the new waste management laws was a major, major game changer for us. In the sense that we'd been around for 10 years. Most people weren't listening to us. They thought we were crazy. And then all of a sudden, high-rise buildings, if they were going to still carry on having massive dumps of plastic bottles, et cetera, they were going to get fined. Now, building management can, in offices like this, can encourage every tenant on every floor to use a filtration system, et cetera. But what happened for the first time in our existence is that five-star hotels who manage whole floor buildings had to come and say, I remember you once spoke to me in 2011. I thought you were crazy. Can we talk to you now? So what's happened now is that we've actually, since 2018, with the waste management laws and then the somewhat justified paranoia about COVID being transferable on surfaces, hotels can't now afford to have the risk of people delivering two plastic bottles of water every day to someone's room in case they might be carrying the germ, the virus. So it's meant we haven't stopped doing these wrong directions here. We haven't stopped doing these clients, but in the since basically the end of 2019, we've had to establish a whole new department within our company for engineering projects, where we're working with Luzhui government, and we're working on various projects now with these companies across China. And it's the first time that we've been approached or even been listened to by hotels. But it just shows you that now people are starting to go and say, well, we're actually not only aware of sustainability, but there are, let's say, incentives from government to start being very sustainable. So, which has also helped our message. And right now, we'll be finishing our first high-rise building in Chentan, in Pudong, at the new Shangri-La, which will be the first whole-filtered building at every single tap you turn on in the Shangri-La will be filtered by Life Solutions. So it's an amazing journey from 2008, where nobody listened to us, to now, where we're actually doing high-rise buildings and making a difference. But essentially, I think this is the start of where you start seeing, okay, it's not just office blocks or office space. There's a shift now where people are becoming aware that the whole building needs to go sustainable. It's not just about our journey as water filtration people. There are air filtration specialists. There are waste management specialists. There are consultants. And then there are brand managers also championing an awareness in the greater community. So that's basically just a snapshot, of the 13 years that I've been involved in this space. And there were times when I really questioned my sanity, especially in those first 3 years. But now I really believe that it's, regardless of what careers you guys are in, whether you are in a business that should become more sustainable or you're working to sustainability. China did start quite late because it had to sort of industrialize. But where we are now, I think we've got the most supportive government and infrastructure and incentives to grow sustainable initiatives. So I believe there's Q&A now. I think I've run out of slides. That's me. Cheers.